Water is becoming scarce as consumption increases due to population growth and rising standards of living. There are many areas in the world that have a significant scarcity in potable water supply. The global water shortage has inspired a variety of strategies to bring clean water in areas in need. A significant number of people who faces water shortages live in islands or coastal regions with access to seawater and usually with unexploited solar energy potential. Therefore, a solution to bringing clean water to communities that face freshwater scarcity is water desalination by photovoltaic reverse osmosis. Now, to fully understand the subject, we will take a look at these two concepts. Desalination or desalting of water consists of a water treatment process by which sea or brackish water is converted into potable water. Osmosis is a physical phenomenon by which two liquids in different concentrations separated by a semi-permeable membrane come into contact and tend to even themselves out. The liquid with the lower concentration crosses the membrane towards the one with highest concentration. This process is inverted in reverse osmosis. We take in seawater, a highly concentrated solution, and force it through the membrane by adding pressure. On the other side, we obtain salt-free water, while back on the first side, the remaining water still holds the salt the membrane prevented from passing through. Let's look at the process overall. Water is taken from the sea and receives a first treatment to limited impurities like oil, seaweed, rubbish, and so on. Once free of organic substances, the salt water can be subjected to reverse osmosis. After refiltering, we have two streams, one brine and the other fresh water. The brine solution is diluted before being returned to the sea, avoiding high concentrations of salt, which could harm the ecosystem. The fresh water passes through a remineralization and chlorination process, after which it's stored in tanks and then sent to the distribution network for consumption. This is the predominant desalination technique today, but is associated to high energy demands due to the high pressure forces that are needed. And to meet these energy requirements, diesel generators are commonly used. However, diesel generators pollute the environment and can be expensive. This is why the combination of desalination plants with solar energy sources have been identified as an attractive, sustainable, and economically available solution compared to conventional fossil fuel-powered desalination plants. But how do they work? Solar energy is converted into electricity using photovoltaic cells. In some aspects, it is the best technology for small reverse osmosis water desalinating units, which barely need any electricity for running. As we can see in this system, the energy source is the photovoltaic-powered system. It powers a feed pump and a high-pressure pump to pressurize the incoming water. The water isn't driven through the reverse osmosis membrane array, but a high pressure produced by the pumps, leaving high salt concentration brine on one side and low salt concentration water on the other side. Reverse osmosis membranes are constructed from a membrane flat sheet. It is comprised of three layers: a polyester fabric support base, a macroporous polysulfone layer, and a polyamide barrier layer. The polysulfone layer strengthens the very thin barrier layer. This one removes nutrients, chemicals, bacteria, and viruses from the water. The back of the membrane is completely sealed to the edges of the permeate spacer. The membrane sheets are glued along each of the three exposed sides and rolled around the core tube. Feed water is forced through the feed channel spacer and into the barrier layer of the membrane. Water passes through the membrane surface into the permeate channel. It flows in a spiral direction and collects into the core tube. This water is the final recycled water product. Normally, there are 7 spiral wound elements loaded in one pressure vessel. Once the end adapter is connected to the last element and the pressure vessel is sealed, feed water can be introduced. This is when feed water is pumped at high pressure into the vessel. As it travels, small molecules like water pass through the membrane, while larger particles such as salt, bacteria, and viruses do not. The final recycled water product is collected from the end of the elements. The concentrate or reject from that vessel flows to another stage, producing more recycled water. Now we'll see an installation of the solar-powered desalination system. On the African island of Madagascar, 11 million people still do not have access to clean water resources. Elemental Water Foundation is a certified company with the goal to help people that need it the most. After the realization of the water project, FWT has now access to 50,000 liters of clean water every day. Per each cubic meter of water, 8 kilowatt-hour of fossil energy is saved. It also has savings up to 70% on water expenses. The best advantages is that they have a great capacity, a reliability of operation assured by mature technology, and of course, fossil fuels are totally avoided. One disadvantage is that the performance of reverse osmosis systems decrease significantly with unwanted particles on membrane surfaces, which is typically defined as fouling or scaling. This is due to the dissolved organic and inorganic salts in the intake water, which cannot be totally eliminated. One way to make sure it's all good is measuring it. Now that both of the readings are done, we can calculate the percentage of a contaminant removal of the reverse osmosis. The rejection rate can be found by subtracting the reverse osmosis TDS from the tap water TDS or by the tap water TDS. A good reverse osmosis system should remove 90 to 99% of the contaminants of the water. Here's an example.